Hello everyone and welcome to my first YouTube video. Today I wanted to share my thoughts on the new game Expedition 33. I think that the game is absolutely incredible. There's so much stuff in it that blew my mind, especially for a game that is coming from a studio of only 30 people. The combat is super engaging and satisfying. The big numbers that pop up for each of your attacks really sells the impact of each attack, and each attack is flashy and super satisfying, with especially with the quick time events. And all of this stuff just makes each move you do feel super important. And each character's unique system also makes each character feel super unique, so you don't really get tired of the combat system because it keeps you on edge all the time, especially with each person's system as well as the parrying and the types of dodges that you have to do. Each character also felt super satisfying to play. I didn't play much of the Scythe Girl, but I assume that people who played her would find her interesting as well, considering the other four characters I played with were really fun to play with. My favorite character was Mael. I just set things on fire all the time, and it was a blast just to see that gigantic 9,999 pop up every single time they took burn damage. The game combat wasn't super difficult either. It was pretty easy to pick up, and the ease of access definitely makes this a game that new people who aren't so used to like these kinds of quick time events will definitely be able to get into. Um, I played on normal difficulty. I did not want to make things too difficult for myself since I'm not particularly the best gamer, but um, the combat was still very satisfying and challenging enough for me to have a really fun time. Some issues with the combat, though. I do wish that the cap was not 9,999. I understand why, especially later on, spoilers, especially later on for like story purposes, why that's the case. But I really wished that, the cap for each hit that you do was not 9,999. That was a little bit disappointing for me. Um, and also, combat did start to feel kind of repetitive towards the end of the game. I felt like each time I played the characters, I already knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I sort of followed those same exact steps. So things like skill trees and stuff, a lot of the moves on there felt sort of useless for me towards the end, since I tended to, fight in one particular style. Exploration was also mostly satisfying. There were a couple of things that I wanted to get to for the exploration that um, were a little bit, they put me off. But in general, I think exploration was really satisfying. Exploring each of the environments per level was really entertaining. Seeing the types of environments that the developers thought up of was absolutely incredible. Like places like where you're seeing right now on screen, Flying Waters, were absolutely magical to explore. But there were some challenges with the exploration. I think that backtracking is one of those challenges. When I was playing the game, especially towards the end, I did not feel like backtracking whatsoever. Backtracking felt like a bit of a hassle, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I think part of this, what would make it better also, is one of the issues. I wish there was a fast travel system. Um, Towards the end, you want to go back and you want to fight all the difficult bosses that you weren't able to fight before. But there's not really a fast travel system, especially in the overworld, so you kind of have to deal with that. Lastly, the story was also incredible. There were just so many moments where, the writing, got to me, or the characters' emotions got to me, and, the writing is just incredible. Each character felt unique. Each character felt like a realized person. The dialogue was not like cheesy or corny, even though it definitely could have been, especially with a lot of other JRPGs. Um, I feel like the dialogue was it felt real. It felt super special, and it felt just great to listen to. Um, yeah, that's about it. I think this game is a 10 out of 10. I would recommend it to everyone, even those who don't necessarily like these kinds of RPGs. I would definitely ask them to give it a try. Thank you for listening to my YouTube video. Um, Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will try and post frequently, but I am just getting started, so hopefully I'll be able to entertain you guys for longer. See ya.